I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News Program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, you can call us and leave a message at 970-677-4119 or email dcbnnews@gmail.com. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Friday program for May 29th, 2020. Happy graduation day to the Dove Creek High School class of 2020. And now, DCTV Daily News. Reported by the Dove Creek Press, the Town Board of Trustees meeting for May 21st was conducted by Mayor Brett Martin via Zoom remote video, and all trustees were present on video from their homes and work. It started by telling all new trustees that Attorney Green had taken the time to put together a 3-ring binder for them to pick up at the town office. The binder contains information that outlays their duties and responsibilities as new trustees. Next on the agenda was the special events permit requested by the Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department for Pick and Hoe. Mayor Martin was calling for a motion to approve the 3-day permit contingent on state orders, allowing for celebrations in July. Discussions related to state approval ensued, with a consensus of trustees agreeing that approval now would at least allow planning for the possibility of Pick and Hoe. The motion was carried with a unanimous vote. A side note that an update on the Pick and Hoe and or the July 4th celebration will be at the end of this broadcast. The mayor then asked for reaffirmation of the appointments of Town Manager Sonny Frazier, Judge Dale Boyd, Town Clerk Rolane Randolph, the Dove Creek Press, and Attorney Mike Green for 2020, which unanimously passed. The town then wished to express their thanks to Dolores County for the 2 weekends for limb removal at the transfer station. All agreed it was a huge help to the town residents. Rhonda Lancaster, Community Voice, was then asked to give an update to the upcoming June 6th Town Cleanup Day. She stated that bins will be provided by Belt Salvage for appliances and metals. All refrigerators, etc. must be free, however, and they will also take microwaves as long as the glass trays are removed. There will be no provisions for electronics, and none will be taken. There will also be dumpsters provided for regular garbage from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come early, for they will fill quickly. Discussions then moved to town water and sewer. Dagan Chad stated that a THM test had recently been administered, but that the May results were not back yet. He is hoping for good results and the back flushing he has been doing. With the back flushing he's been doing. Currently, work is still underway on the new treatment options for treating the town's water in the future. He also stated that Triangle Park and the DC VFD Firehouse were now the only 2 sources of unmetered water in the town of Dove Creek. A slight loss of water did occur from a defective valve, but that has been rectified to the relief of all. CDOT's new water lines were almost complete, and Gyrene Street was reopened. On the other end of the water spectrum, a new 10-year plan for the sewer lagoon was completed and presented to the state. Also, staff is grateful to start attacking necessary work down at the lagoon now that some COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted. The meeting then moved to discussions with Sheriff Wilson. It was expressed that many were upset with the perceived speed of traffic through town and a lack of tickets last month. Sheriff Wilson reminded the board of state recommendations for local law enforcement and the Colorado State Patrol because of COVID-19 restrictions and how that impacted the number of tickets. Current doctrine is that all but the most egregious infractions are to be hit with lights but not stopped. All was then understood. Attorney Green then stated that he would like to see all fines and court costs become mandatory and align with state costs. Sheriff Wilson stated that having only 1 set of fines would be a significant help to the department. Work will continue on that. Lastly, Sheriff Wilson stated that his office has seen only minor complaints with OHV use, and those have been isolated and hopefully addressed. Attorney Green stated that both court cases with the town have been completed, and while basically winning the case, the town did have to pay some court fees. He also stated that he has sent the subdivision improvement agreement to the trustees to review and discuss further at a later date. It can contain new impact fees, regulations, and standards moving forward. Christy Chad next briefed the board on recreation. The Little League governing body presented plans to Cortez for a vote and hopeful approval. This is necessary to be able to have play with COVID-19. She stated that the likelihood of it passing is at best 50-50, so the chance of having a season is slim. Currently, the rules are untenable. There currently is no interleague travel allowed. Mancus will not be fielding the team, and rules are unmanageable. It is felt that it is time to pull the plug on the season. The board members were in agreement. Mayor Martin did state that if restrictions are lifted later this summer, he would love to see if the town could host a 3-day tournament or something similar, and all agreed. Crystal Broderick gave a report on the digitization and codification of the town ordinances. It is progressing smoothly. The ordinances have been digitized, but they need to be reviewed and verified by the attorney. The town website is being migrated to the new Drupal platform website and should be fully migrated by this year. Rolane stated the town audit is progressing and will be more in-depth this year. It will also be addressing systems, etc. for compliance. All information was brought down for its start this week. She also stated that there was a possibility that the audit could be done in time for a June review by the board. Mr. Frazier finished up the informative part of the meeting by stating that he was starting the summertime schedule of street chip sealing. Bills were paid, there was no public comment, and the meeting adjourned. And a side note that if you wish to attend an open to the public board meeting, contact their office for the agenda and Zoom access. If you have something specific to be attended to by the board, contact the office to request to be put on the agenda, giving the topic and your time needed. And now, let's take a look at the local weather. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 85 degrees with a southeast wind 10 to 15 miles an hour. For tonight, we're looking for partly cloudy skies with a low around just 56 degrees with west winds light at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And so the forecast has changed once again for Saturday. Now looking for a mostly sunny day with a high near 85 degrees with southeast winds light 5 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour. And then it's for Saturday night again that a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms might happen in the afternoon or early evening before 9 p.m. Then a slight chance of showers between 9 p.m. and midnight. So that front coming through has been delayed a bit again. Mostly cloudy with a low around 56 degrees Saturday night with southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, and the chance for precipitation is just 20%. So we might not hold our breaths for actually getting much moisture. For Sunday, we're looking for another hot, sunny day with a high near 85 degrees. Southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, and winds could get gusty up to 25 miles an hour. Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 56. And for the start of June on Monday, partly sunny with a high near 84 degrees. Monday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 55. Into Tuesday, partly sunny with a little less high of a high near 81. Tuesday night, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms slides in before midnight. Mostly cloudy and a low around 52 on the overnight. And next Wednesday, cooling off a bit with mostly sunny and a high near just 78. Wednesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 51 degrees. And now, back to the news. From the Journal, reporting on a follow-up to the continuing tragedies of missing and slain Native Americans. Photo courtesy Shasta Penna. A presidential task force charged with coming up with ways to address missing and slain Native Americans resumed tribal listening sessions Wednesday, encountering some technological glitches in the virtual version. The task force held a handful of sessions in person with tribes and tribal organizations before the coronavirus hit. It's now turning to teleconferences and webinars to update tribes about its work and get input. 3 other sessions are scheduled through June 3rd. The task force will develop protocols to apply to new and unsolved cases in Indian country and create a multi-jurisdictional team to review cold cases. The task force, made up of 7 federal officials, says it's on track to submit a progress report to the White House in November. A final report is due in November 2021. Quote, as all of these pieces of the puzzle come together, including that data collection, I think we're really going to make an impact, make a difference, said Katie Sullivan, who represents the Office of the Attorney General on the task force. The U.S. Justice Department said 85 people, aside from those in the federal government, connected to Wednesday's session. Few spoke up to provide input, including only one tribal leader. Their recommendations range from ensuring tribes have access to funding through self-governance contracts, not grants, and expanding the criminal jurisdiction for tribes on their own land. They also emphasize the need to dig deep into data and to ensure law enforcement is coordinating when responding to reports of missing people. The Justice Department said it will work to improve the quality and clarity of the virtual sessions. Sullivan said the task force would take cues from tribes about when to resume in-person sessions. Various states have formed similar groups to look at what has become an epidemic in Indian country. The National Institute of Justice estimates that 1.5 million Native American women have experienced violence in their lifetime, including many who are victims of sexual violence. On some reservations, federal studies have shown women are killed at a rate over 10 times the national average. An Associated Press investigation in 2018 found that nobody knows precisely how many cases of missing and murdered Native American women happen nationwide because many cases go unreported, others aren't well documented, and no government database specifically tracks them. And in a sign of strange times, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad didn't take passengers Thursday through the San Juan Mountains to the town of Silverton. Rather, the locomotive ferried food and medical supplies, as reported by the Durango Herald with photos by Jerry McBride. An essential services train, quote unquote, left the Durango depot about 8:30 a.m. and arrived in Silverton about noon with the supplies. While the train did not carry passengers, members of the Harper family, who own the railroad, were on board to meet with local leaders. With the train's arrival, Silverton, which has been closed to outsiders since March because of coronavirus restrictions, announced it was open to visitors. Quote, most importantly, this is the train's version of an F-16 flyover, said Deanne Gallegos, director of the Silverton Area Chamber of Commerce. It's bringing support and hope and energy into town. In March, San Juan County implemented a locals-only policy that prohibited non-essential travel into Silverton, effectively cutting off the mountain hamlet. After the public health order expired at the end of April, the county adopted Governor Jared Polis's Safer at Home policy, which contained a clause that said people could not travel more than 10 miles for recreational purposes. Silverton's self-imposed isolation seems to have helped slow the spread of the virus. As of Thursday, San Juan County, which has about 600 residents, had only one confirmed case of the virus and no deaths. Health officials have said, however, the virus is likely more widespread than reported. Now, Silverton officials cautiously are trying to attract tourists. Gallegos said, still wary that a surge of visitors could overburden the small community. Quote, but we also understand we are a tourism-based economy and livelihood is just as important for our little community because that is how we all survive, she said. The train ride was meant to boost morale and amplify the message that Silverton is open, Gallegos said. A crowd gathered at the station for the railroad's first oil-burning locomotive to arrive. Waiting at a safe distance, nearly everyone wore a face covering, and for those dressed in 1800s attire, the masks didn't look out of place. Judy Coleman, a Silverton native, had her daughter make her a mask that matched her outfit. Coleman said that the scene was not a normal train welcoming, but people were making the most of it. Quote, it's very different, she said, but at least it's something. Thursday's train ride also served other purposes. Molly Barella, owner of the Golden Block Brewery and a volunteer with the town's food bank, said the supplies would help restock pantries. Quote, we've been having an inability to get food to our food bank and those in need, she said. The DNS&G also has been closed since March and has been looking for a way to follow safety regulations while carrying enough passengers to make a profit. The DNS&G is a significant tourist attraction for both Durango and Silverton. La Plata County is working on a variance request to jumpstart the railroad business, which would allow the DNS&G to operate at 75% capacity. The threshold owner, Al Harper, said that the train needs to remain profitable. But that amount of crowding might conflict with state guidance of keeping people 6 feet apart. Restaurants, for instance, are allowed to operate at only 50% capacity. And by the way, you might check out what you can do on an airplane because they are not less than 6 feet apart either. Quote, I have no idea if it will be approved, Harper said. I wish I had answers. It's a very difficult time and we're anxious to open. Harper's son, John, who is DNS&G's general manager, said that the railroad was, quote, taking all the right steps to reopen by implementing social distancing measures, taking staff temperatures, and issuing a symptom questionnaire. If the variance is approved, Harper said it would take the DNS&G 2 weeks to start running trips to Silverton. La Plata County commissioners will vote Tuesday on the variance request, which will then need support from San Juan Basin Public Health, the Southern Ute Indian Tribe, and Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. Then it would need ultimate approval from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Gallegos said Silverton supports La Plata County's efforts, but the community is challenging the DNSNG to get creative. In 2002, for instance, as the Missionary Ridge fire burned between Durango and Silverton, the DNSNG ran trips out of Silverton to popular recreation areas like Elk Park. Quote, all businesses are being challenged to diversify during the COVID-19 pandemic, Gallegos said. We're asking the same of the train. Think outside of the box and offer rail excursions on both sides of the railroad. Several Silverton businesses interviewed Thursday said that they are ready for visitors. While it's unclear when the DNSNG will be able to run again, outdoor recreation is kicking back up. The San Juan National Forest is set to reopen campgrounds, and San Juan County is preparing to clear backcountry roads. Quote, we feel a little more comfortable opening up, said San Juan County Administrator Willie Tukey. Paul Zimmerman, owner of the Pickle Barrel restaurant, called the town's pivot to reopening the right move. Quote, society as a whole can't continue on in fear mode and hiding out, he said. It's a virus, it's scary, but we have to live. But after weeks of discouraging outsiders, Zimmerman and Inga McFadden, owner of Coffee Bear Silverton, a coffee shop, said it might be difficult to persuade visitors to return. Quote, our reputation has really tanked, McFadden said, but I hope we rebuild that slowly because we are a tourist town. Just as big of a mystery, Gallegos said, is when the town will see the DNSNG blow its steam and smoke again. Quote, Silverton would not exist without that railroad, she said, but we don't know when the next opportunity for the train to run will be. And today's High Canyon Country happenings. The Dove Creek Mandatory Weed Control District will be offering a spray special. The Weed District will offer 2 hours of spray time, half in travel time, and you pay for the chemicals. This special will last as long as the funding is available and will be on a first-come, first-served basis. You must be a Dolores County landowner and come to the DCMWCD office to sign a release form. That's in the basement of the courthouse, so you want to call ahead to OMA at 970-677-2283. Remember, it is a state and county law that you must control your noxious weeds. And fortunately, the weeds aren't as out of control this spring as they were last year, if you can recall back that far. It's also been so dry that many are withering on their own, which causes a fire danger. So, of course, be careful out there. We do not have a ban in place, but you do want to be careful. And another announcement that tonight is the graduation of the DCHS class of 2020. All 12 of them will be in the stands at separate distancing spaces under the variance that was given by the state, and they will have a ceremony at the football field. It will be live streamed to the DCHS school Facebook page, so you'll want to watch it there for the overall live footage there. And then also DCTV will be there with multiple cameras to pick up more close-ups and do an edited version of the graduation ceremony, which will be aired next week on the TV station. And a reminder that the town of Dove Creek has announced another yearly Spring Town Cleanup Day. It will be Saturday, June 6th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or until the dumpsters are full, as the DC Press reported in their town roundup. It's for the town residents only. Dumpsters are located at the town yard at 505 West 4th Street. The following items will not be accepted. They will not be accepting tires, inner tubes, or other large rubber items, batteries, or any item containing acid, oil, or anything soaked with oil, soil, any substance considered as hazardous material. A scrap metal dumpster also will be available, sponsored by the Community Voice, and that's located on the west side of the town office. Acceptable items for that, again, are to include all metal appliances, hot water heaters, microwaves without glass trays, refrigerators and freezers if they don't have Freon, and tire rims with no rubber. And another shout out to re-explain that the Dove Creek Chamber is not putting on the usual pick and hoe in the same 65th year annual tradition due to the unique circumstances of coming out of a health emergency status, now June 15th, according to an extended resolution by the Dolores County Commissioners. From all of the unknowns since February 2020, the lead time to make all of the working pieces come together and find funding, the pieces that the DC Chamber is in charge of, has not been possible. There is no delaying the date of July 4th. The DC Chamber is in charge of the games and the music and the food and the overall venue at the park, within which the individual tournaments are run by each of their own individual groups. Most fundraise for their own sports groups and or pay out prizes and then donate some funds back to the operating expenses for Pick and Hoe. Similarly, the beer tent is run by the fire department for their own fundraiser, as well as And if, as this year, there will not be a big draw to the area, the decision to not host the beer tent is under consideration, as it just may not be worth it. However, the traditional 4th of July Independence Day Parade, which is also not coordinated or hosted by the DC Chamber, is a unique community tradition collectively and organically organized by the people of this community. That is something you can speak with the Sheriff's Office if you want further details or want to get together as a community. Other locations have held similar types of parades with the request of individual responsibility for social distancing and staying healthy. Again, if it needs to be repeated, if you are sick or you are afraid of getting sick and wish to stay home, that is your personal choice. Also, the Dove Creek Chamber does not put on the fireworks show. That tremendous and wonderful show is coordinated and paid for and attended to for safety's sake by the Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department, whom we thank very much for their ever-diligent service to our community. As the access to fireworks is somewhat lean this year, we have been told that they are continuing to work towards providing a wonderful show marking the 244th year of our independence and the birth of our great nation. Likewise, if anyone wishes to, as they say, drag Maine or cruise Maine on Saturday, July 4th, that is again not an organized official event of any kind. It is the unique opportunity of a collective community wanting to come together, yet separately, sharing a moment while being socially distanced in one's vehicle. So all that being said, the DC Chamber supports all of our local businesses trying to struggle back from an unprecedented hit to not just a business, but lives being thrown upside down and struggling on the edge of disaster, not from a physical health standpoint, as we in Dolores County remain at 0 cases, 0 deaths, 0 positives, with 29 people being tested and coming out negative at this point, but from an overall and economical health point of view, that also has a right to live and thrive. So if you feel strongly about any and all of your rights as an individual, a business, and as a greater community, then let your elected officials know how you feel. No need for anger or upsetness, but a time for focused, clear communication in a civil and effective manner. To that end, this is why the Dolores County Commissioners offer a time in their twice-monthly meetings that are open to the public to listen to, and then at 11:45 a.m. or whenever it's 15 minutes prior to the lunch break, the public is offered a chance to speak and voice their concerns or interests or accolades. Why not give them a pat on the back for something on what the issues of the county may be? The next meeting is this Monday, June 1st. As the courthouse remains closed under the local emergency rules, you're invited to attend the meeting via Zoom. For those who aren't familiar, that's an online application that you can connect to via the internet or on a smartphone or laptop, or you can simply call in from any phone with the ID and password and listen to the meetings and then have your microphone opened when it's time to speak. You can contact the office at the courthouse for the ID and password, or you can go to their Facebook page, DCBOCC. Again, the DC Chamber is extremely supportive of this type of universal communication options. Now, even people from Rico can listen in or attend via Zoom to their county seat meetings without the long drive. Please take advantage of the new technology and let your elected officials hear your voice. They can't operate for you within a vacuum. And I post up these High Canyon Country happenings on our Facebook page and all the other news, which is DCTV Daily News, where you can also watch this program replayed along with news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share your information. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something you want to share, the email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or the phone number is 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday as available during this time of uniqueness, with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.